dropping the hammer.
No, you're not.
The Alpha Men Podcast is presented by Garage Door Commander. Fueled by a hell of a lot of PBR. And produced by TJ Michaels Creative. Narrated by Jamie Dennis. Graphics by Sven. Dedicated to Hendrik the Viking Poulsen. 2023, all rights reserved.
Seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
You ever notice how men are portrayed in movies and TV shows? Tired of seeing men portrayed as dopey Homer Simpson clones? Tired of the attack on men? Tired of the woke labeling everything as toxic agenda? Tired of the wussification of the American male? Well, then you're in the right place. Look, we love and respect women around here, but the truth is, we're wired differently than the female species. And if there can be a place where the chicks can get together on TV every day, like that awful program The View, we figured there should be a place where guys can be guys, and we're capable of creating an equally horrid program. So get ready. This is a celebration of man. Because after all, who built the Empire State Building? Who built a rocket and landed on the moon? Who created the very computer algorithm that allows you to find this show?
That was created by Ada Lovelace, a woman.
Okay, great. Credit where it's due. But I think we can all agree the algorithm sucks. Who created the automobile? The Egyptian pyramids? Who stormed the beaches of Normandy? We don't talk about feelings here. We will question the validity of your man card. We're not politically correct, and we'll stand up and fight back against a culture that's determined to transform us into a bunch of neutered pansies. This is your weekly dose of toxic masculinity, a show created by men for men. This is the Alpha Men Podcast. And now, two men who don't own a pair of skinny jeans between them, TJ Michaels and Jon Stacy.
Welcome to the Alpha Men Podcast. I'm TJ Michaels, Jon Stacy joining us from North Carolina. I reside in Barre, Vermont, and man, this is like episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Very first Alpha Men podcast, and we are set to go tonight. We'd love to hear from you throughout the show. We'd like you to comment and tell us where you're watching from. And you know what? Like and subscribe. It really helps us out as we get this thing off the ground. Jon, before we even get started, I know you're in North Carolina. You grew up in central Vermont, yeah. But you took your family many years ago down there for what?
I took a job in NASCAR. It was kind of a dream of mine since I was a little kid, and I'm living the dream. It was
from the nation's side of excitement, Barry's Thunder Road, and the safety crew, to fiber optics tech for NASCAR, and now they got you working in the tower. Is that right?
Well, got to be working my way up to the tower to do timing and scoring stuff with NASCAR.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, very cool.
It goes well.
During the race on Sunday.
Yeah.
During
it'll be this
the
Sunday.
race on Sunday, you're in the garage area. You're official.
Yes, I'm in the garage. Pretty much every race I'm there. It's fun. I'm around the environment.
All right, Jon.
It's pretty cool.
Jon is kind of like my younger, uglier, mentally challenged little brother. And you know what? That's why we're here today. The Alpha Men Podcast is something that both our friends and family have been telling us for years that we should do. I spent 35 years on the radio, and after being blown out because of a bad economy and because the radio industry is in a bad space twice in the last 4 years, I sell beer for a living now. Yeah. Pabst, Labatt, Switchback,
There's nothing wrong with that.
What else? God, all kinds of stuff.
You post a lot of pictures
Tuesday
of seltzer.
nights. Yeah, well, we sell soda too, but nonetheless, Tuesday nights we're going to come to you. And the reason we're going to come to you is because 15 years ago, when someone said to you the word toxic masculinity, I don't think there's anybody, including 99% of guys, who would have said, well, if that guy has toxic masculinity, he's a bad dude, right? I mean, he's a guy who's not a good guy. The problem is 15 years later, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but everything a guy does is toxic masculinity now.
That's society.
Like they will say, you're breathing.
Yeah.
You're breathing. That's toxic masculinity.
It's sad.
All right? It is sad. There is an attack on men, and you know what? We figured that if there's a place where those crazy ladies from The View can get together on TV every day and create a horrid program, we're capable of creating an equally horrid program. So that is the essence of the Alpha Man podcast. And, of course, we have a website, alphamenpodcast.com. You can find us every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, streaming on Twitch, on Rumble, on Facebook Live. And I'm missing one. YouTube, the big one. There you go. We'll be on all of them. And you know what? We have a lot of fun coming your way. A lot of exciting stuff, including tonight. He is the Stinkin Genius. National sports talk host Arnie Spanier is going to join us. John is a huge Cowboys fan. I, of course, repping Dilly Dilly. Let's go Philly. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the greatest sports rivalries of all time, and he's going to settle once and for all this Eagles-Cowboy thing for us. I understand that Arnie worked in Dallas in sports talk radio.
I think you're going to pay him off. I really do. I think you're going to get the Eagles. No.
I will tell you that at one point I was his producer, though. I mean, that is true. Listen, we're going to get into some fights on this show, but there have been a lot of fights this week. A couple of potentially big fights announced. And as Judge Mills Lane used to say, let's get it on. You remember Butterbean, John? Tuesday Night Tussle, Butterbean, Eric Butterbean Esch. You remember him?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He wants to make a boxing comeback. You know how old he is?
No.
I mean, he's up there. But
he's got to be your age.
Yeah, right. Guess who he's going to box? He's going to box Jake Paul, the YouTuber, the social media influencer. And I don't know, man. All these fights with Jake Paul, who's obviously on the roids when you look at him, you know?
He's a big boy.
And obviously has a ton of money.
Yeah.
Do you think these fights do you think they're real? You think he's just paying these people off?
It's hard. It's like any sport. I mean,
yeah.
It's like the Pete Rose situation. It's going to happen in any sport, but I mean, nowadays with technology and everything else, I don't see it happening. I think he's just getting lucky.
Yeah, I see a guy who, for years was just some YouTube kid, in the attic of his house, doing stuff. And now all of a sudden he's ripped and he's got the physique of Sylvester Stallone in Rocky II, and, he's fighting fighters that had a career, a major career, and then found themselves in tax trouble. And they need the money. And so I don't know if the Jake Paul thing is real, to be honest with you. But Butterbean, who was known as the king of the 4-rounders in his boxing heyday, he says he's ready to come out of retirement.
I still would fight Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Jake Paul runs his mouth too much. He never fought nobody. I'd love to fight him. He knows about it. I know 100% he knows about me challenging him. He's Butterbean's amassed, actually, 57 knockouts in his career. and wants Paul to be his final fight. And I think you saw it. We talked about this off the air that there was a video floating around a couple of weeks ago of Butterbean at some like Comic-Con thing signing autographs, and
Yeah.
he doesn't look
still
like
big.
he's in fighting shape.
No, he's in
He's
shape.
really big.
He's in shape, but he's not in shape.
It's round. That's the shape that he's in. He says he's going to
round.
fight one last fight, maybe a year from now. Jake Paul, if you're ready, I'm here for you. Let's get it on, me and you. While Butterbean is calling him out, Jake, by the way, is training for a fight against Nate Diaz on August the 5th in Dallas. And that's not all the fighting news this week. Cage match. Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah. I'm saying we should put this on pay-per-view right now, right?
It's the month of billionaires.
I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't watch this. You heard of the Thrilla in Manila. Now might be time for the Bedia from... This fight in the history of the world. I mean, if it happens, it'd be in Las Vegas. So we got to break this down. Who you got? Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk?
I'm going to go with Musk. He's older. I mean, but he's got the wits, size, the reach. I'm going to go with Musk.
You're going to go with Musk?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going with Mark Zuckerberg because he knows ninjutsu. Believe it or not. Yeah.
One punch you can't fight without air.
Musk, here's the deal. Musk is 51. He's got the size advantage. Zuck is 39. He has jiu-jitsu experience and youth on his side. Elon says he never works out at all, except for picking up his kids and throwing them in the air. He turns 52 later this month. That sounds like your workout, by the way.
Yeah.
And he tweeted, "I've got great moves. One I call the walrus, where I just lie on top of my opponent and do nothing."
That's Butterbean's. That's probably Butterbean's move too. If he fights Jake Paul.
Butterbean's move. You know what?
On top of him.
You could fight Elon Musk and use your move. The whale.
What? The whale.
Sportsbooks already capitalizing. Zuck has as the favorite, odds ranging from minus 160 to minus 500. Musk's mother May says the fighting is too much. It should be a battle of words instead. In armchairs, 4 feet apart, the funniest person wins. So that's kind of the deal. But you're going with Musk. I'll go with old Mark Zuckerberg, and we'll see what happens.
Sounds good. Man bun.
Listen, let's go ahead and do it. Take on the man bun tonight. The top knot, the twat knot, the bitch biscuit, the saddle horn for your boyfriend, whatever you call it, I don't care.
Saddle horn.
It doesn't make you look cool. It doesn't make you look sexy. It doesn't mean you're a hipster. It doesn't mean you're challenging gender stereotypes. It makes you look ridiculous, all right? No matter how many fighter video games you've played, I got news for you, Sensei. All right? I hate to break it to you. You're not a samurai warrior, okay? The man bun is the worst hairstyle of all time. It finishes ahead of the comb over and the bowl cut, okay? And there are very few men who can pull off the man bun. All right?
Who's
Jared
that?
Leto. Who else? Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Of course,
had a
Cassie
man
always
bun
said
going
this.
way all the way back to the 70s, okay? And Jesus, all right? Those are the people that can pull off the man bun. That's it. The soy boys walking around, I think their man buns are tied too tight. I think that's what's going on. It's cutting off the oxygen to their brain. It is this ghastly haircut. If you're going to bring back old haircuts, all right, for men,
Yeah.
you got to bring back the mullet, right?
The mullet.
The mullet,
The mullet's
yeah.
a classic. It's like the old
Look,
faithful. Go ahead.
you can never go wrong with a good-looking mullet. I mean,
Oh,
you know.
let's see you have a mullet. How about you grow one? Then I'll grow one.
I had a mullet. But
a few weeks
I'm a
ago, you
fat
looked at Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Gotta have more cowbell.
That's what you looked like.
Wait, look at that, and it's just stop. You gotta stop with the mullet stuff. I just had enough of it. So go with the mullet. Joe
What about this
Exotic
mullet?
had a mullet. You know, Joe Exotic has a mullet.
Jelly roll.
Never go wrong.
Deliver the verdict. This is Man Court. All rise. The sometimes Honorable TJ Michaels presiding.
On the chat with your thoughts.
You know,
All right. Sometimes, actually, not so honorably, TJ Michaels. You ain't supposed to talk until I say that part.
yeah.
But yeah, so introducing you, Mr. Honorable TJ Michaels.
I think you're gonna have a hard time saying that.
It makes me gag. I have a little.
Well, listen,
wait.
I feel the same way about calling you skinny. So that's just the way there is. Today's docket number 0330001. It is the case of the road trip radio rain. All right, our plaintiff writes, Dear Man Court, my name is Dave from Vermont, and I'm prepping for a mini road trip this 4th of July weekend with a few friends. But one controversy has already reared its ugly head. During our 6-hour drive, there are concerns about who controls the music that's being played. Conventional wisdom says it should be the person who's doing the driving. But in this case, that person is my friend Jimmy, who is a massive fan of country music. And I'm not talking about the contemporary popular country of today. We're talking about the banjo and twang of the hills. No one else is thrilled about the prospect of this, but he's the one with the car big enough to fit 5 people comfortably. What are the music rules when it comes to road trips? All right.
Let's see what the comments. Any comments in here?
Well, you can join the freak jury and just comment on the in the comments section. Tell us what you think. You know, there are common rules when it comes to road trips, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of one of those things that whoever's driving is in control of the atmosphere, right? I mean, that's just the way that it goes.
They control the safety.
That's right. And they also control the radio. And it's saved me many, many times with my 3 daughters driving back and forth to Pennsylvania from Vermont to see my parents from having to listen to the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. So this is the way that it goes. I'm driving, I'm in control. You know, that's just the way that it is. So what should Dave do? You got any thoughts?
My thoughts with Dave. Try to compromise. If it ain't going to compromise, then the driver gets a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
All
mine.
right.
Oh, Haley says it's lies.
It's all right. Well, listen, I've come to a verdict. Here's the deal. The court is finding for the defendant. Man law says, and as always affirms, whoever's driving controls the radio. So Jimmy's got the car. Jimmy's driving. Jimmy's in control. However, Dave, I can offer you these pieces of judge-like advice, all right?
Judge.
You could suggest connecting your phone and listening to your favorite podcast instead. You could make an excuse not to ride with everyone else and follow in your car, thereby controlling your own atmosphere. Or if it bothers you that much, you can not go.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. If it's that bad, yeah, don't go.
Absolutely. If you have a problem, no one else can solve it. You can get the Alpha Men Podcast to do it. alphamenpodcast.com. Just click the connect link there, and you can send us a man court scenario. We'd love to cover it. Man court is adjourned.
Handful hair time.
All right. Well, here's the deal. Working the kinks out on the first show.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's all right. Things are going to happen this way.
A little frustrating, but I'm getting it.
We're moving through it. You have to understand, we have spent the better part of 6 to 8 months putting this thing together. And, I really didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
you did, until you realized how much work it is.
Oh, I'm over it, but I'm having fun.
Well, that's what it's all about. Listen, I told you earlier I sell beer for a living, and that is what I do now. But from the ripe old age of 14, I started a 35-year journey on the radio. And listen, I've lived, I've slept, I've ate radio for a very long time. It was God, family, country, and then radio. September 15th of last year, radio, my mistress, some might say, broke my heart. For the second time in 4 years. A bad economy, bad advertising climate led me to understand that after 35 years, I really couldn't support my family anymore on an industry that's been in big trouble for many, many years. And honestly, and you know this, John, I gave radio my life, and it kind of gave me the finger. So
Yes, it did.
It's in fact, yeah, go ahead.
You spent countless hours in the studio. I mean, I've shown up to the studio. You're sitting there exhausted drinking a coffee, just trying to get through the programming. Yep. I get it. It whooped you. I mean, I've even seen you in there with just pants on before.
All right, that's for another show.
And it's gonna be.
It is the inspiration for this podcast, because I could sell a lot of kegs of PBR all day long, but there's nothing like my love for being on the air. And you're watching and listening to the very first podcast of the Alpha Men Podcast. Musically, over my career, I've done every format you can think of, even talk and sports talk, adult contemporary, top 40 country, rock, oldies, even smooth jazz, believe it or not. That's Boney James on Smooth Jazz 104.9. Yeah, I did it. All right.
Boney James, really?
But yeah, my wheelhouse.
They had nothing bony about you.
Yeah, my wheelhouse has always been hair bands. And the reason is because hair bands through the mid to late 80s were too unsafe for most radio stations. You hear them all the time now, but that music at that particular time didn't get a lot of respect. And now there's a resurgence of it. And so each week, I kind of want to do this thing called the Handful of Hair. We're going to feature the bands that partied the Sunset Strip in the hopes it brings you some nostalgia and encourages you to take another listen to their catalog. This week, we're going to take a look at Rat. Yeah, come on. What you give is what you get. Way Cool Jr., Lay It Down, Back for More. But best known for their rock anthem, Round and Round, obviously.
Yes. I remember
the band's classic lineup, Stephen Pearcy on lead vocals, Robin Crosby, rhythm guitar, Warren DiMartini on rhythm guitar, and Juan Croucher on bass guitar, along with Bobby Blotzer on drums. Rat goes actually all the way back to 1973 in Hollywood. It was a band called Fire Dome at that time, and it was founded by Stephen Pearcy with a bunch of friends. In 74, they broke up, And Piercy would form another band called Crystal Pistol. All right.
I've heard of
And that name would evolve into Mickey Rat at some point in 1976. In 1980, to increase their chances of getting a record deal, they shortened Mickey Rat down to just Rat. They released a single called Dr. Rock / Driving on E. And you know what? That is where it all started from. 1981, they signed their record deal. 1983, they would come out with an EP selling over 100,000 records. And then Atlantic Records would pick them up and release Out of the Cellar in March of 1984. An incredible album. Piercy's raspy, bluesy vocals, awesome. Pyrotechnic guitar playing, too. The album would score much of MTV play with songs like Round and Round. That would go to number 12 on the Billboard chart. They would then release their second full album, Invasion of Your Privacy. And Rat would then release Dancing Undercover. In 1987, they would go out on tour with newcomers. You may have heard of these guys. Poison. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard of Poison. We all heard Poison.
In 88, they would release Reach for the Sky. Over the last 20 years or so, there have been talks about them reuniting, and they did get back together in 2002. And Piercy says nowadays, though, it's just not going to happen. So the only thing we have left of Rat is the music, because you're never going to see them live again. Really kind of an early part of LA's Sunset Strip. And this week's Handful of Hair, we have a clip.
John's Manly Meme of the Week.
That picture, I wish I never sent you that picture. Or
that is the greatest. The Manly Meme of the Week title card is the greatest meme in the world I've ever seen.
No, it's not.
It is. What is that from? You got hurt.
Long story short, I flew back from Iowa Speedway. I owned a garage door company called Garage Door Commander here in North Carolina with my business partner, Alan. I was doing a garage door after working all day at the races, flew overnight or whatever. It was a wicked long night of racing. And the next morning I flew home, did the garage door. I stepped down the ladder real quick and my shoelace or something got in the way, and all 300 pounds of me went to the floor.
You ended up in the emergency room.
My head hit the floor really hard. My buddy Nick Peak brought me to the hospital, and I sent you that picture. And
it really starts to make sense. It really starts to make sense now.
I hate you.
All right, what do you got for Manly Meme of the Week?
So it's not really a meme. It's a GIF.
Okay.
I had one job, I know, but there ain't nothing that's
Really?
going to top more manly than these guys. I mean, nothing. If you can find something more manly than this, show me.
All right, go ahead.
It's coming.
Oh,
It's just a quick GIF of D-Day. But it's not about D-Day.
Storming the beach.
Yeah. It's not about D-Day. It's about that generation. I mean, they ain't nothing more manly than these guys. They went through what? The Depression, Prohibition. I mean, they fought for the country. I mean, it was, what do we call them? The greatest generation of all time.
The greatest generation. Absolutely.
Yeah,
now we have guys who are upset because the Starbucks barista didn't make their mocha chica latte right. And these guys, there's a reason they're called the greatest generation. A lot of these guys didn't come home. And you look at, honestly, where they're coming from. I mean, D-Day, if you've ever seen Saving Private Ryan, is probably the most accurate depiction of what storming those beaches in Normandy was like. But you look at it and you think these guys, not only were they sent to hell in a foreign war, but these guys went through the Depression. They went through Prohibition, right? Yep. and then after that, they get shipped to France and Normandy and Germany, and a lot of them didn't come home. And balls the size of flying saucers.
I agree with
that's just all there is to it.
I agree with our comment here. He wrote the greatest generation, and I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there'll be more funny memes. We'll have funny memes and GIFs and all that stuff. But I wanted to start the show with this, just
absolutely
to set the bar, because I ain't going to beat it. So
while we're here, I do just want to quickly news breaking this afternoon that Jimmy Johnson not going to participate in the road race in Chicago this weekend, and they've withdrawn his car. Of course, a big problem in his family, a murder-suicide I'm not sure how they're related to Jimmy, but
in-laws.
In-laws, okay.
Yeah.
All righty. So condolences to the family of Jimmy Johnson and the NASCAR community as well.
Definitely. Much respect to that man. I've met him numerous times. Very, very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
So.
Other big news, and this is going to be a hard transition, but Ryan Seacrest going to host Wheel of Fortune. Really?
What?
We couldn't find anybody else. I mean, look, this guy took American Idol. He took Dick Clark's job, right? He's on the radio. He said, now he's going to do Wheel of Fortune. Are there no other guys in this country to host shows? I'm just asking.
He's popping a girl man bun.
Holy cow. Absolutely.
I think it's time for my favorite part.
Let's do it.
Who needs a foot in the ass? The Alpha Men Podcast presents
my foot into this thing called your ass.
The Red Foreman Awards.
You dumbass.
The Red Foreman Awards are something we're going to hand out every week. Going to the biggest dolts, idiots, morons, stupid criminals, the people, the companies, the organizations that deserve the old Red Foreman foot in the ass. All right?
Or you'll have
This
a classic case of foot stuck in ass.
There you go.
It's a program.
This first Red Foreman Award. The envelope, please. Yes, thank you. Goes to Stephen Peterson of Flagler County, Florida. You see, Stephen was the center of attention for the Flagler County Sheriff's Department earlier this week. Cops say the 22-year-old was speeding in his vehicle when he struck multiple cars and still continued down the road. Florida Fish and Wildlife officer tried pulling him over. Peterson allegedly did what you or I would do in that situation, John. You know, he drove his dinged-up SUV onto a high school running track. Okay?
Yeah.
Then he went through a landfill, then into a wooded area, and then back out onto Interstate 95. So, no, I wouldn't do that either. But Peterson was coaxed out of the car when a police officer saw that he was only wearing socks.
Socks?
Yeah, he was buck naked.
Oh, well, I mean...
Peterson
why?
and the passenger that was with him, which makes me have all kinds of questions now, are now
Florida.
facing a host of charges. And there is still no explanation for the lack of clothing. And while I have questions, maybe it's just that he was bare-assed. I don't
Dumbass.
know. Next Red Foreman Award winner, the guy by the name of Damian Boyce of Indianapolis, Indiana. Now, look, I know when you met your wife, John, Cupid's arrow struck you, and you never know. You never know when true love is going to strike.
Yep.
For Damian Boyce, it was in the middle of him trying to rob somebody. Allegedly. All right.
So he's robbing somebody.
In Indianapolis, yes, an unidentified woman was coming home from work. She was doing the late shifts when she was approached by a gunman who stole cash from her. He then forced her to send him a friend request afterwards on Facebook. And that's not where we stop, okay? Later, he had the giant cojones, all right, to hit her up for a date through Facebook. I mean, look, this guy really does need a foot in the ass, and he deserves the award. But this guy's
You'll
got
have a classic case of foot stuck in ass.
Yeah,
I mean, that's. I mean, why? I mean, you might as well rob a bank and here's my ID.
right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
This guy has got beach ball sized nuts. All right. Court records state Boyce pointed out on his Facebook profile that Boyce pointed out his Facebook profile to the victim and watched her add him. He reportedly told her that he'd pay her back the money he stole, and then left the scene in a Porsche.
in a Porsche.
No, actually, he was riding a bike. Come on.
Oh,
I mean,
Yes.
I just thought it'd make the story a little more interesting. Look, no, he didn't have a Porsche. The guy robbed a lady and then asked her for on a Facebook date. He was clearly riding a bike or a motorized cart or something. All right.
There had to be some meth involved.
Yeah, right. There was also a message exchanged where Boyce allegedly wrote, look, just know I'm going to pay you back. It's a crappy way to meet, but crap, you was too pretty to rob. I'm improvising that, but nonetheless, after the request to meet up, the victim told her alleged assailants that she had a man, but I wish you the best, bro.
At least you left him on good terms, you know.
Boyce charged with armed robbery last week. Red?
Dumbass.
There we go. We ready for the next one?
There's more.
Yeah, we don't condone violence against women, but you really do need a foot in the ass. Red Foreman Award this week goes to Corey Richens. She is the Utah mom who wrote a kid's book about dealing with death. Pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
But she's also accused of killing her husband. She's outdone herself. According to a court filing from earlier this month, Richens has filed a civil lawsuit against the estate of her deceased husband. All right? The estate, said to be worth $1.9 million. She's suing for half the equity in their home because the house wasn't listed in the assets of her late husband. That means it wasn't listed in their prenup. So she claims it's a joint marital asset. And Corey is now on trial for allegedly slipping her hubby 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl inside a Moscow Mule amid marital issues.
So what is she gonna? Her commissary ain't gonna hold 1.9 million.
I don't know.
What the hell are you gonna do with it?
I think it takes a special kind of evil to kill your husband and then sue his estate, allegedly, for right.
Yeah, but
for the house.
Holy crap! That's not some. That's just that's
Dumbass.
That's all I can think of.
That's it. Our final award this week is going to go to Seth Thomas of Tampa. Yes, back to Florida. They say you are what you eat, which means John is 100% cheese curls. Absolutely.
Hey, I still love Ajax.
They say you are what you drink as well. Apparently, a 39-year-old Florida man named Seth Thomas, yes, the Seth Thomas, was arrested last week. Yeah, I don't know who he is either. But he was arrested while drinking Florida Man beer. All right?
Where the hell did you get that in Vermont?
Hannaford Supermarket.
They have
All right.
Florida Man beer in Vermont. Okay.
Apparently, yeah. While drinking a Florida Man beer at a place in Tampa called the Cigar City Brewing Company. Yeah, they make it. It's a pale ale. It says 8.5% on it. Ooh. Now, Seth was yelling at cars walking through traffic in Seminole, Florida, near Tampa, sipping on an open can of Florida Man when the cops showed up. At the brewery's website says this. Actually, it says it on the back of the can, too. It's brewed with nearly a criminal amount of hops. It's a tribute to all those alligator wrestling Florida men with shark tooth necklaces.
That's Florida.
And, quote, a rap sheet longer than Mama's mustache.
Where's the trailer park?
Speaking of rap sheets, Seth's got one. He's been arrested before for open container trespassing and obstructing police. Faces charges for disorderly intoxication. Congratulations, Seth. You are a Red Foreman Award winner.
Dumbass. You dumbass.
And you know what? This seems like it. We should try this. Should we try this? All righty. The beer in question this week on tap is Florida Man, although it's not
Really?
on tap, it's in a can.
You could
All
find
right.
a better beer.
We were going to try and do something that we could both taste test ourselves, but I was shocked that you couldn't find Florida Man beer in North Carolina.
Okay.
like-
I probably could have, but
It's like the one thing that Vermont has that no one else has,
no,
because
I
you
probably,
all have all kinds of stuff we don't have.
I probably could have found it, but I just couldn't. A show, the Alpha Man podcast, I couldn't
Yeah.
justify my first time being to the world, sitting there drinking a Florida Man beer. So I guess, I'm a fellow Vermonter.
Yeah.
North Carolinian now. I'll stick with the moonshine.
Oh, that looks good. Smooth. It's smooth.
So you could drink your Florida Man beer.
All right, here we go.
I'll check that out.
Available. It's a double India Pale Ale, IPA. Says unpredictable varieties of hops used in a nearly criminal volume combined to create a bold, citrusy double India Pale Ale brewed to pay tribute to the world's worst superhero, Florida Man. So I'm a little afraid to drink this, to be honest with you, because
Pouring whiskey.
right. Well, no, I just
in my horn.
I don't want to take like 3 sips of this and then find myself in a trailer in the middle of the Okeechobee in Florida with some meth cooking on the stove. I don't want that. Sorry, Florida. I just don't want that to happen.
No laughing. That hurt.
All right, here we go.
Cheers. Maybe next time we get more people in groups.
Oh. All right. Florida Man, Cigar City Brewing, Tampa, Florida. Double IPA India Pale Ale. It's very, very citrusy,
Sounds
which you would expect
Florida.
for a Florida beer, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know. It's all right.
This is very appley.
I don't know that I'll ever drink it again.
Because I'm gonna take a man
And
card.
I know that. Here's the thing: I sell beer for a living, and like, I like IPAs and all that other stuff, but I have to be in a certain mood to drink them.
Yep.
But I gotta tell you something: like lawnmower beer, like Pabst PBR. on a hot day after you've mowed the grass. It's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, PB, nothing beats
All right.
PBR.
So all you hipsters can spend $35 on a can of beer. That's fine. All right. And there are times that I want to have an IPA or a double IPA. But I got to be in a certain mood to do it. And most of the time, I'm all right with domestics. Of course, I grew up in Pennsylvania, home to America's oldest brewery,
That's good beer.
Yingling. All right.
Actually,
And
next week I'll do Yingling.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to bring some this way.
Actually,
All
yeah.
right.
We'll do one
Because I
together
can't get it.
Why not?
Yeah,
Oh,
they don't
come
sell
on.
it in Vermont. They don't sell it in Vermont. So
It's sheltered.
that's kind of the deal.
Flannel.
I'm wondering if we're actually going to get our guest tonight because he has not he has not
Queued in yet.
chimed in yet.
Yeah, I'm checking emails. But hey, let's continue on. We're still learning.
Let's
this
head for the
program.
couch.
Head for the couch. That sounds horrible.
I'm going to head for the couch. You stay where you're at. Okay?
Tales from the Old Couch.
You know, I built this set in my house in Barrie, Vermont, and just on the other side of this camera and desk, there is an old couch. My my wife has wanted me to get rid of the old couch forever, but it's comfortable. It sits here in my studio, and it used to be in our living room. Over the years, the stories that it could tell. I mean, I like to sit here and sit on the old couch and think. You know, my wife and I, we raised 3 beautiful girls. And as a dad, I did a lot of parenting from that old couch. And my wife and I, as I go through a lot of changes in my life, she's going through a lot in hers too. And as a family, we're going through a lot of changes. For the first time in about 28 years, we're about to be empty nesters. And I look at that old couch and think about raising kids, and I couldn't ask for better kids. Compared to me, they got into way less trouble growing up than I did. In fact, in terms of getting into trouble, they're pretty much angels compared to me. I don't know what I did or how I deserve all 3 of them, but somehow I got them. That, however, doesn't mean that raising 3 girls didn't drive me crazy. Oh, I got the T-shirt. You have no idea what it's like to live in a house where everyone except you is female. All right? And for most of the 20 years, there wasn't even a male pet in the house. All right? I would come home from work, and it was like there was an estrogen bomb that had gone off in the house. You don't understand. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I have friends that have boys that would tell me, I don't know what to do with them. They're always beating on each other. They're always roughhousing. And let me tell you something. I will take roughhousing and beating up on each other any day over the super cinematic, dramatic experience of being a teenage girl. Everything is a crisis. Everything is over the top. Everything is drama. Today was the worst day of my life. I think between the 3 of them, I heard that phrase every day for about 13 years. You guys with boys, you have no idea how easy you got it. So now what? Every time the subject comes up, my wife, she starts to cry. And being the alpha male in the house, oh, come on, don't do that. Please, please don't cry. You know. I remind my wife that Lucille Ball once said, you see your kids much more after they leave home which I know is true because my daughters live in their rooms and only come up for air when dinner's done. That's all there's to it. And I really, really, truly, honestly am excited to see them take on the world. Admittedly, excited for my wife and I to have our time. And really, however, most of all, just want to vacuum in the nude. That's what it's all about. Is that wrong? I don't know. One of my daughters has already gifted us with 2 adorable grandchildren, and I know there's more on the way. And look, I know all 3 are going to make us really proud. I love my girls. I can't wait to see what they're going to accomplish. And they always know they're welcome home. It sure will be different without them, though. And maybe that's why my wife is crying. Maybe it's not so much as she'll miss them. Maybe it's more that she's thinking about having to spend every day of the rest of her life with just me. And come to think of it, I'd probably cry too.
I'll blame her. So, Mr. Arnie is he's up and ready.
Is he here?
Yes, sir.
Arnie Spanier.
So I'm gonna roll the.
I was focusing on something else. All
right, Arnie, I'm gonna roll.
Well, we wanted to soften the blow before we brought you on. That's how it is. Well, listen, this is a big time production. We have a great big intro and the whole 9 yards. So I do. I know it's terrible, isn't it? Is there not another guy? Is there not another guy in this country? Hmm. It would have been awesome. Listen, let's roll the intro. Go ahead.
It's time to charge up old Sparky. Let's get this week's guest to the hot seat.
Oh, what's wrong with that there? Weird.
All righty, he is the national sports talk host for ESPN.
No, try
Radio.
again. Let's try that again. How about Fox Sports?
Fox Sports
Radio. That's what I said. Fox Sports Radio. Spent many years in Burlington as well at 101.3 The Game, and I, for a period of time, used to be his producer, working on getting him into the Southern California Jewish Sports Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
Still not in.
Still on the case. Still on the case. Still working on it. He is the Stinkin Genius, Arnie Spanier. Arnie, how are you tonight?
What's going on, guys? How you doing? What's shaking tonight?
Well, listen, we thought on our first podcast we would bring you on and talk about sports rivalries because Jon is an insufferable Dallas Cowboys fan. Okay,
Yeah, I don't like those guys.
And you know my affinity for Dilly, let's go Philly. You know, I mean, it's just the way there is. And we're going to get to that. But when it comes to sports rivalries, and I know you worked for a period of time in Dallas, did you not?
Yeah. I don't know why that's like saying, remember the time you were in prison? Let's talk about that for a while. I don't know why that has to be brought up. I was in Dallas, I believe, 3 years, but they're like dog years. So every year you're there, it's like 7. So that's really like 21 years. And gosh, they're such diehard fans. It's disgusting. I remember the University of Texas fans. When I went to my car once, somebody carved it on the side. Bevo was here, their mascot. So and there's no way the Bull could have done it. I'm telling you, had to been some fans. But and one time a police officer called me on my show who was a big Cowboy fan, and obviously I wasn't. And he goes, "I see you and your producer's tickets thing have expired on your car, your tags." I go,
Mhm.
"What's this guy looking at my car for, man? I don't feel comfortable." I had to take a cab home because I was afraid I was going to go to jail. So it's just amazing. I mean, they tell you about what diehard fans they are out there, but you really don't know until you move down there. As for Philly, I've been to Philly so many times. I just want to punch them in the face. But
Yes.
that's
Thank
but,
you.
but that's because I'm from the Bronx. I'm not like one of those sissy guys from like Los Angeles or something on the
Philadelphia.
West Coast. So
Well,
I've been down to Philly a lot of times, had cheesesteak and got the hell out of there. So I don't know why anybody would live there, to be honest with you. So
Yeah. I can't stand their fans,
it's a city of
especially
brotherly
him.
love, for crying out loud. Go ahead, bring up throwing ice at Santa Claus. It was 40 years ago, for crying out loud.
yeah, I know,
You
and
know.
you've done so much worse since then anyway. So I don't know why we keep harping on that. There's so much to pick on them. I wouldn't go to a game out there. I went out to Philly. What was it when the Lakers? Was it the Lakers in the finals with them? I don't remember who it was at the time. And man, we crank called one of the local stations out there, WIP, and the
Yep.
boss found out who we were, and he called me up on his phone. He goes, "If you ever do that again, I will release where you're staying at what hotel, and you're gonna have so many people down there, your heads will spin." And I was afraid. I'm like, "No, don't do that, please, man, don't do that to us." So yeah, no, there. That's it's. I mean, there's not too many rivalries left. I mean, you got the Philly Dallas. More so, maybe in college, you still got the Dukes in North Carolinas. They're not as prevalent as they are now, and with all the teams transferring to different conferences, UCLA, USC, not really so much on a national scale. Michigan, Ohio State, Auburn, Alabama, but
Penn
the
State, Ohio
NFL.
State.
Yeah, no, Auburn, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah, but as for the NFL though, I don't consider like Kansas City and like the Chargers. I don't really think that's a rivalry. Sure, you have the Cowboys in Philly. Cowboys in Washington used to be a big time rivalry
Yes,
back
they
in the
did.
day, but with the name change, ownership, and all that, can you still say that's a rivalry? The Giants and the Cowboys used to be a big time rivalry. The Giants in Philadelphia
Yeah.
were sometimes a little bit of a rivalry. So
There's a
I think
lot of
those are.
rivalries that there's a lot of rivalries that have come out of the NFC East.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
God,
there
yeah.
is. I mean, it's been a great division. I've talked this over with Jerry Jones. I said because when I was working in Dallas, we were the flagship of the Cowboys. I've worked for flagships before, but never where you've just really got to say what was on your mind. And I said, Jerry, let's be honest. You don't even really have to be in that division. I mean, Philadelphia, the Giants. I mean, what you're just going all over, but you're not even in that part of the region.
Yeah.
They've redone that realignment. He'll never leave that division because it's all about the money. It's all about the fans.
Yeah.
It's all about the great
Oh yeah.
rivalries being up there in the NFC East. If you did it all over again, you'd think the Texans and maybe put him in the AFC South with Jacksonville and some teams like that. But he will not leave. The Cardinals used to be in that division, I believe. And then they, when they were in St. Louis, ended up getting out of the division when they went to Arizona. But he won't do it because of the rivalries that they have with all those teams, really. But for the most part, I mean, it's Philly and Dallas for now.
Yeah. Well, it
Uh,
shows on Facebook for
greatest
us.
greatest team on the face of the planet comes from the University of Arizona. Is that right?
That's right. I went Ivy League school, Harvard, Princeton, Dartmouth, Arizona, and semi one. But no, I feel good this year. Arizona State, big rivalry. We went 8-0-1, 9 straight years against them, and the one tie is when they went and had the game won. So all they
Mm-hmm.
had to do was kneel on the ball 3 times and the game was over. Well, they don't do math well at Arizona State, and the quarterback kept kneeling on the ball quickly and then snapping the ball early. So they had the punt, and the punter dropped the ball. We ended up scoring a touchdown to tie it up. and we got a tie out of that. But that's a great rivalry too. That's a lot of fun. Like I said, UCLA and USC used to be a lot of fun, but you don't have them that much anymore, especially with the conference realignments. Arizona State may get split up now, but there's there's still probably more in college than there is in the NFL
Yeah,
now.
I mean Penn State Pitt used to be a big rivalry. Of course,
Yeah, but
that doesn't
Pitt,
happen anymore.
yeah, Pitt not really the powerhouse like Penn State is, and I don't know if that's a national one. I'm sure that's a pretty big one in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, yeah.
By the
Well, and
way, you were talking about. I just want to say this. You were talking about Yingling. Did you know that's
yeah,
the number one beer in America right now?
yeah, absolutely.
It passed,
Oldest.
it passed Bud Light. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
absolutely. They were really smart when the controversy came out. Yingling released an ad campaign that just said, "We're just going to focus on making good beer,"
And,
and
and
it
you
was
know
smart.
another
It
Pennsylvania
was
beer
smart.
that my friends used to drink is what do they call them? Mickey Big Mouths. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, Mickey's Big
Mickey
Mouth.
Big Mouths. Yeah.
That sounds like TJ.
that was a
Mickey's
popular
Big
beer back then.
Mickey's Big Mouth, when I was in high school. Oh, God, I hope my mom's not watching. When I was in high school, Mickey's Big Mouth was about $6 a case.
Oh yeah, they
And
were
Friday,
very cheap.
I mean, really, really cheap.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Friday
Yeah,
night
they-
after the football game, somebody would show up with about 3 cases of it because, like, everybody had given their lunch money to the kid all weekend long. You know? So that's how it worked. But listen, when you were in Dallas, is it true that you kind of gaslit the Dallas fans a bit?
You know what's terrible is they were a 500 team for most of the time there. I was there. Jason
Still
Garrett
are.
was pretty much overall 500 coach. They had Wade Phillips, who I loved. I loved Wade Phillips, who actually called me after he got fired. This guy got fired after a game. I don't even know if he had to take like a different plane home or something like that. Jerry got on a private plane with him. The whole thing kind of sucked, to be honest with you. But the Cowboy fans, I mean, at first they hated me. And yeah, they hated me big time. But we were up against
I'm still biased.
a legendary station called The Ticket at the time, and we were
Right.
fairly new. And my
Yeah.
show was late at night, and we were pretty much got away with all this bull crap that we could. And we actually made top 3. We were number 1 at one point for our slot. And I'll say
Yeah.
also because the Ticket didn't have great range at night, so that was probably part of it. But yeah, no, we had a lot of fun. I had a couple of good guys who still do radio out there now, and we had a great crew. We had a lot of fun, so it was really a blast. It was a good time.
All right, Arnie. So let's settle this right now. We look at the Eagles with potentially the next Tom Brady under center.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts. Listen, the guy's going to be a superstar. He's no
is.
Carson Wentz. All right, he's going to be a superstar. And you've got overrated Dak Prescott, probably
Yeah.
the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. Would you agree with that?
I'm not a big Prescott fan. You got Daniel Jones with the Giants, so
Really? Compare?
It's slim pickings in the NFC
Yeah.
East. It's going to be Philadelphia in that, though. I like my Dolphins. It should be a matter of time now before they pick up Dalvin Cook, the running back, and that's really going to solidify it. As long as Tua stays healthy and doesn't get concussed a whole bunch of times, we'll be just fine.
But here's what we have to settle, because this is the way the argument goes every Sunday throughout football season. John and I's meme wars are legendary back and forth.
All right.
And he always makes the argument that they have 5 Super Bowl championships to your 1, right? And
Right.
he says that over and over again. And then
It's
I
history.
say the Model T was once state of the art. All right? It was once state of the art. It was the best car you could buy.
We still
Okay.
beat you 73 times.
The
and you beat
Cowboys
us
haven't
55.
won anything since the invention of the wheel. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
All right? Okay? 16 playoff victories since 2000 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas Cowboys, 4. Okay? They haven't made it to an a divisional championship in almost 30 years. And so like America's team. Are you kidding me?
How
It's
about them
over,
Cowboys,
baby.
right? How about
It's
them
over.
Cowboys?
It's over, baby.
No, it's not
done,
over.
right?
That the reason he brings it up so much is because they have nothing else to hang their hat on. So what else are they going to do? It was so funny because every year the Cowboy fans, this is our year. This is
That's
it.
Eagle
This
fans.
is it. This is our year. We're going to do it. Doesn't make a difference who the coach is, who the quarterback is. We're the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Everybody walking around with Ezekiel Elliott half shirts on and yelling, how about them Cowboys? I got to tell you, though, the real Cowboy fans don't go to the games because
Yeah.
it cost $1 million
That's what I heard.
plus parking. I didn't bring in the parking, so could
Right.
reach as high as $2 million. Could reach as high as $2 million. But no, the real Cowboy fans are not. Unless even if you get free tickets, you're going to cost too much to go. It's the fake boob and cocaine crowd. I think is what
Yeah.
is
I
out
got
there.
to
But
tell you
it's
something. A couple of years ago, my daughter, for Father's Day, bought me tickets to go see the Eagles at the Link.
oh boy.
Now, listen, she was 24 years old at the time, married with a kid, just barely scraping by. So for her to save the money to buy NFL tickets was a big deal,
imagine.
right? So we go, and I mean, I know you've been to the Link before, but
Yeah.
I'm like sitting. The Link, when you sit at the Link, it feels like you're gonna fall right into the stadium. I don't, I mean, you're leaned over, and we were all the way in the back, all the way in the top deck. I mean, it was like being in the cantina bar at Star Wars. Right? I mean, and honest to God, the Philadelphia hardcore, every other word was an F-bomb. These guys getting smashed.
I told you I went with some friends to a Yankee game. We were out in New York. We got seats. We were going to sit in the right field bleachers, and we got there in like the third inning because we were running late, screwing around. We weren't even Yankee fans. We were just going to sit out there because all the craziness out there. And I walk up there. Somebody's sitting in our seats, and there's two police officers happen to be standing up in that aisle. And I said, hey guys, a couple guys are in our seats. And he sees there's like 5 or 6 of us. He goes, oh, they're in your seats, are they? He goes, get the F out of here. You come in at the third inning and you want me to get him out of here? He goes, man, go sit up in the bleachers way up there away from everybody else. Get out of here. Because you don't even deserve to. Go get in the left field or something. The guy was giving me, I mean, they have, and one, I'll tell you a good one. I remember when the Jets lost to the Patriots in a wild card playoff game. We just happened to be stuck on the bridge going across the toll. And my buddy was just drinking and he was drunk as a pig. And he's yelling out the window, Jets suck! Jets suck! And we're caught in traffic here with all the Jet fans. So some guy walks up to him and just pops him in the face. And the police see this, they pull us both over. And they said, what went on? And my friend goes, he just popped me in the face for no reason. And he walked over to the guy, goes, why'd you pop him in the face? He goes, he was yelling Jets suck. And he walks over to my friend, he goes, next time you're not going to say that now, are you? He goes, like, get the hell out of here. And we're like, whoa, I guess you can batter somebody if they say Jets suck. So they don't mess around out there.
Yeah, the Jets do suck.
Any predictions? Any predictions on the NASCAR season?
No, none at all. Zero there.
How about the Red Sox, Yankees?
The Red Sox are in last, right? So Yankees are going to be okay. My Mets have really just stunk it up, man. They're embarrassing. The whole season's a waste, 60 to 70 games in, 75 games in. So unless they pick it up in the second half, which I don't see, it's just a debacle. The whole thing.
Who do you see taking it?
Boy, I'd like to see the Dodgers come alive. I still think that's a possibility. They got the best team. So I'm going to stick with them right now. But, gosh, it's kind of wide open right now. The Padres are just so horrible. And look how much you're paying for their team. So, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Dodgers and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll stick with my Red Sox, just like my Cowboys.
Fast forward to February, Super Bowl winner.
I think it's going to be. I have my initial pick is the Dolphins and the Cowboys.
Oh my
That's
lord!
my yeah.
Stop it.
That settles
that's
it.
gonna be my
No more,
Dolphins and
TJ.
the Cowboys.
No more,
I'm
TJ.
definitely having the Dolphins in there, so we'll see what happens.
That settles
I think
it.
Jalen Hurts is going to have something to say about that. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
That's all. there
I
is to
like
it.
you now, Arnie.
Arnie. It was good to see you.
Good to see you again, and sorry I didn't get the Wheel of Fortune job. So I
Yeah,
probably
no,
wouldn't
well,
have been good at that job. I could see someone go, TJ, can we hear a letter? R. No, you imbecile. Does it look like R's up there? Gosh. No, so I don't think I would be good at that. That's probably not my thing.
I appreciate you, Arnie.
All
well,
right, guys,
listen.
take care. I'll see you later.
There's
Congrats on the
always
show.
Joker's Wild.
Am I going to get charged a phone bill if I don't know how to disconnect myself?
No,
Because if I do, I'm sending it to you, dude. I'm not kidding around.
just hang up.
Okay, I don't know how to do that. Goodbye.
Bye.
I don't.
Arnie Spanier, he is the Stinkin Genius from Fox Sports Radio, and I worked with Arnie for a couple of years, and he's a great guy. And
So just based what he said, TJ.
yeah,
Cowboys. So
I don't
That's the
think
season.
that's what
I don't
he
wanna hear
said. I don't think what he said. Loretta's writing in, but real Cowboy fans are real fans, not people jumping on the bandwagon because the team is winning. That's true.
I think she's referencing you back being when you're a Patriots fan, kind of. Yeah, you're make be.
Oh, well, we do have to talk about that. Okay. So, for 20 years, I was on the radio station that was the flagship of the New England Patriots. Okay. And I've always been a diehard Eagles fan. I watch the Patriots. I like to see the Patriots win. However, hearts in Philly. All right. And when you are leading the radio station that is the voice of the New England Patriots radio network, you kind of have to be a Patriots fan or at least play the part. So
Sell out.
sue me, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's like I listen to you Monday through Friday. Patriots.
Yeah.
Sunday, go Eagles. You were ashamed to say Eagles, even though you're.
No, I wasn't ashamed. I just do what was good for business.
Oh,
okay?
it's because they sucked during that time. That's right.
No, that's not it. That's not it.
One Super Bowl since 1960. Before that, it was championships.
Yeah.
It's history, buddy.
16 playoff victories since 2000 to the Cowboys.
We have beaten you 73 times. You've beaten us 55.
Okay. All right. We're beating this like a dead horse. That's all there's to it.
So I'm going to jump right into the red flag.
Yeah, go ahead. Do that.
All right.
There's nothing more manly than motorsports. These are John's red flag moments.
It's a decent picture of me this time, not the one with the neck brace. So I appreciate that.
I used an official NASCAR photo.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that was actually
Yeah, I
at
think I did.
Eldora Speedway.
Yeah.
Last year, the Truck Series was there.
So for people who don't know, what is a red flag moment?
So a red flag moment on the racetrack,
Mm-hmm.
or in the bar, but in a racetrack, if somebody flips, hits something excessively, or clogs up the racetrack where the cars can't get through safely, and we have to stop the race to assess the driver situation, and get the track back in safe working order, or make sure the driver is out of this vehicle. Fires, rollovers, hard collisions, and usually, just like the GIF, the meme segment. It's supposed to be a meme. I put a GIF. This has nothing to do with racing. This is just this should go under the Red Foreman Awards.
Okay.
But we've all seen this all over social media in the last few weeks. But here it comes.
At their last 10-50 rollover.
dumbass.
At their line, 1050 rollover. Last and second EMF, immediate roll.
Man,
You
What?
missed an opportunity there. You missed it. You should have dubbed in the Dixie horn from the General Lee. That would have
you know,
been.
you
that
know
would've been
hard.
awesome.
You know how hard it is to find that audio.
What, the Dixie horn?
Yeah.
I can find it for you. It's easy.
Well, because I've looked everywhere
not
for it.
West.
But needless to say, that girl, she was unhurt. Oh, she was hurt, but she wasn't killed, to my understanding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how do you miss a big truck with strobes? My dad owns a big towing company in Vermont.
Yeah.
I fear for his safety out there all the time. I mean, it's a dangerous situation to be a tow truck driver. So, but we all thought the same thought when we're driving down the road, joking with our friends. Oh, we're going to jump that car ramp, or we're going to jump that flatbed.
Yeah.
She did it, but I
Yeah.
bet you she was probably on her phone.
Texted on the phone
Had to have been. I mean,
or on meth.
or on meth.
I'm just saying.
But I'll have some good moments, red flag moments racing. So I had to share that one because that was just a oh my god moment, and it was kind of like
I have a friend that owns a garage, and he tells me, I'm like, hey, how's business? He's like, dude, he's like, between cell phones and drugs, business is good. He goes, I'm fixing cars like crazy, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. Red flag moment tonight on the Alpha Men podcast. Do us a favor and support the show, like and comment, and like the page, comment, do all that stuff. And by the way, new company called Jon and TJ Need More Money Enterprises has put up an Alpha Men podcast store at alphamenpodcast.com. All right. And we've got the ever popular Don't Be a Wuss t-shirt. All right. Very, very nice. Whole bunch of great Alpha Men podcast gear, including travel mugs and all kinds of other stuff. alphamenpodcast.com.
yeah. Scroll down.
You ready
see
to
it
do
there.
the chick flicks?
I do not. I cannot believe you made me watch this, but here we go. Hopefully this works the first shot.
All right.
The Alpha Men review some of the worst movies of all time. Chick flicks are dumb.
Here we go. You talk. You start this off because I'm still mad I had to watch this stupid thing.
Well, yeah, they are the bane of my existence. Chick flicks.
It's because we had a
And,
house full of girls.
I do. You know what? My wife, when Christmas time comes and Hallmark Channel turns into the 7 months of Christmas leading up to it, where they air a Christmas movie every night, it is the most horrible time in my house ever. And I don't get me wrong, I love Christmas. I just hate Christmas movies. They're all the same. It's the same plot. It's the ultra rich stock trader who's in love with the woman who owns the cookie shop, right? But treats her like dirt. But the janitor that works there, you know, I mean, it's just it's the same plot over and over. They're horrible movies, and each week we're gonna bring you chick flicks are dumb.
I'm doing this every week. I can't watch a chick flick.
This week, John and I watched the Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts movie, Notting Hill, and
It was the best 2 hours and 3 minutes of my life.
this unbelievable pile of estrogen grossed $116 million at the box office. It is widely considered one of the best rom-coms of all time, but it sucks, and here's why. All right. Quite honestly, 2 hours and 3 minutes, you're right. You will never get that back. Okay.
No.
Even the premise of the movie is nauseating. Okay. Chick flicks from the guy's perspective. Here you go. Notting Hill follows William Thacker, played by Hugh Grant, who owns a bookstore in the Notting Hill neighborhood of London. All right. He meets and falls in love with the most famous actress in the world, typecast, played by Julia Roberts. Okay.
Pretty woman.
she comes into his shop, and that's where the whole movie starts to really cook, if you could call it that. Hugh Grant plays his normal, I really can't do anything but play a pretentious British dude. You know, that's his whole shtick. It's all he does. Julia Roberts plays the biggest movie star in the world and is still incredibly hot. Just saying. Here's what happens. Grant spills orange juice on Julia in the bookstore and then invites her to his nearby apartment to clean up. Because that would happen.
That's
okay?
my flag moment.
That would happen, right? I mean, a guy who owns a bookstore would spill orange juice on the most famous actress in the world and then say, hey, you know, my apartment's right down the street. We could probably go clean that off for you. I'm just saying. And she would go, right? This is where it goes off the rails. That would never happen, all right? It would
Maybe
never
Jeffrey Dahmer.
happen, okay? And then here's the best part. After what will never happen happens in the movie, then out of the blue, they just start kissing. What the hell?
That's happens in real life, right?
Right. So, look, there are Dear Penthouse letters that are more believable than this movie, okay? I mean, this movie is full of crap. Notting Hill.
What made me laugh was that part where he was trying to climb that stupid fence and he falls. He's like, whoopsie daisy.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Roll the clip.
I didn't bring a clip for that. I got a better clip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But that whoopsie daisy part, who says that?
Nobody says whoopsie daisy except Hugh Grant.
Oh,
Okay.
you sound like Julia Roberts right now. She says the exact words.
And here's the
Says
deal.
whoopsie daisy.
In the movie, and don't get me wrong, I like Julia Roberts. Okay? In this movie, this time suck of a movie, she has the personality of a blank postcard. I mean, that's all there is to it. This movie is so lame and boring. I had to drink 5-hour energy just to get through it. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Here comes that clip.
All right, go ahead.
I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
Oh my God, I want to vomit. I seriously want a Ralph. All right? I can't handle it.
I had to
I
drink
can't
some for
handle
that.
it. All right? So here's the other part. The entire movie, I'm watching this, right? And I don't know if you were thinking the same thing, but I'm like, why is this English dude so warm for her form, right? Because she plays him the entire movie. All right?
Yeah. That's like every girl mostly.
And in the end, he begs her to marry her after she plays him for the entire movie. Mm-hmm. Dude, man up. You got some pretty high test self-confidence issues. I'm just telling you.
So we have a scale system.
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain that.
Well, we'll get there, but I just, I want people to think about Notting Hill and think about if the rules were reversed. Okay.
Oh yeah, good call.
And Hugh Grant was playing her the whole time.
It'd be a documentary.
Right? Any decent human being would go, now that's toxic masculinity, right? And it would be deeply wrong. Correct. And if the reverse were the case, Grant's character, you'd call him an a-hole, right?
Yep. A pig.
But hey, it's Julia Roberts and she's a star, so it's just perfectly fine when you're already in another relationship to play hot and cold for months with this dude, right?
It's just how society is.
At one point, this movie goes ballistic over pictures of her bare bottom, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody cares that you've shown your bottom. Get over it, all right? I mean, really.
Do you want to see mine?
No. We don't have a wide angle lens that big. All right. Lastly, and not to be a spoiler, but why are you coming to see this poor dude you dumped a couple of months ago after 2 days of going out with him? Really? The whole movie doesn't make any sense. It was painful to watch. So listen, here's how we're going to rate these, okay? We're going to rate the movie on the guy scale with the with the alcoholic beverage scale as well. So there was no contest in the movie, okay? Right. There was no sport or game. There was no gratuitous nudity, all right?
Yeah.
There were no awesome cars, chase scenes, crashes, explosions. No road trips, put-downs, or action scenes. Humor-wise, there were about 2 jokes in a 2-hour and 3-minute film that were funny.
Whoopsie daisy.
Okay, stop it. You're making me sick. All right? It's a typical Hugh Grant film. So if you're a man and you haven't seen Notting Hill, walk, check that. Run away. Far, far away from Notting Hill. All right? So the adult beverage movie rating scale around here goes like this. The best movie, and there are good chick flicks, by the way. The Wedding Singer was actually a good movie, right?
Yeah.
All right? It's a romantic comedy.
Very.
All right? It's a romantic comedy. That was a good movie. This is crap, all right? So a good movie would get a 30-pack of PBR rating from us. Okay?
I like it.
All right? A bad movie.
How bad?
Which is what this one is. I'm going to give this the worst rating we can give, which is one White Claw that's been rolling around under the seat of your effeminate buddy's pickup truck for the last 3 months.
And he's got a man bun. And he's got a man bun.
That's right. That's right. All right? Notting Hill. Stay away from it. All right? Chick flicks, they're dumb. All right, I got to share this with you. All right, this obituary,
I haven't seen it yet.
Should go into the Obituary Hall of Fame. And if not, it's a strong contender for Obituary of the Year. All right,
it's got to be from Florida.
It is not. The guy's name is James Lovelace, born March 11th, 1963. He passed away June 14th, 2023. And this is what his obituary reads. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Born and raised in Kentucky in 1963, a state that has been recently leaning towards more liberal values. We might add Jamie, a divorcee, father, grandfather, and proud owner of a few lots in the trailer park, had enough and up and died on us on June 14th in order to avoid another presidential stolen election mishap in the near future. This is how it starts, okay? And it doesn't get any better from here.
Okay.
As a gluttonous eater of fried foods and snack cakes, as well as the occasional chili cheese dog, Jamie tried in vain to give up the ghost by clogging his arteries and having a stroke in 2015. His twin boys, Rocky and Rodney, had other plans and made him go to the hospital. While waiting in the ER at the hospital, he was heard saying, "Let's make a break for it," only to be heard by one of the hospital staff and forced to go through the procedure. He wasn't too excited about the prospect, but went anyway. On many occasions in life, Jamie was seen in his backyard at the trailer park during the early hours of the morning, hammering beers, standing over country-style ribs, and yelling, "It's got a head like a cat on it."
I like this guy.
His nearby neighbors would peek out their windows, bearing looks of disgust and amazement at the party guests slurring remarks about needing to speed up his cooking style. We've been here since 5 o'clock, they would say. I got work in the morning. Now, we don't know.
This can't be real.
It is real. I swear to God, it's real. We
Oh,
don't know.
God.
We don't know if Jamie was married, but he definitely was a ladies' man. There was Kathy, Mary Lou, Tammy, Deborah, Carrie, Tina, etc., etc. It's the bones, he told us proudly, pointing to his skinny, pasty white legs.
Oh.
Women love a good shin.
What the hell?
We even think he might have had some females waiting for him on the other side. Jamie loved his family more than anything else in the world, except ice cold Bush, room temperature Bush, T-bones, New York strip, prime rib, shrimp, swimming, poker, hatchback Mustang GTs, tank tops, Kentucky men's basketball, and his personal copy of Eddie Murphy's Raw.
Who is this guy?
He leaves behind his favorite son, Rocky, of Arizona City, his second favorite son, Rodney, of Science Hill, Kentucky, a younger brother, Joey, an unofficial daughter, Melissa, of the trailer park, as well as a pair of old boxers,
Unofficial.
which have Budweiser, King of Rears, painted on the design. He will be moderately missed. Pulaski Funeral Home is honored to assist the family with arrangements.
This guy has a mullet.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There's no man bun in this guy's. And he has no white claw underneath his seat.
I love
Oh,
a pair
where'd you
of
find
old
that?
boxers which have Budweiser, the King of Rears, painted on the side.
where? How?
I'm not going to give up my secrets.
That is epic.
Listen,
I mean, I wanna change my-
absolutely.
I'm gonna say that's my
Absolutely.
dad.
Absolutely. James,
Oh.
you are you're a legend. That's all there is to it. That's it. That's it.
I'm gonna.
That's
Hold on. You keep your Florida man drink down. That's embarrassing. I'll drink to James.
that's it.
That's it. So a little change in the schedule because we got to change it up for Arnie.
Yeah.
We're pretty much at the end here, honestly.
Is that it? We made it
Yeah.
through the whole thing?
Yeah, about 42 minutes longer than we expected.
That's awesome. We made it. By the way,
So-
this is the antique beer tap that my daughter bought me while she was out in Ohio. It's not really antique, but it's the thought that counts.
You see, Loretta said
Oh. Yeah.
it's not a chick flick;
Oh.
it's Adam Sandler movie.
That's it. You're right. Yeah. Absolutely. Listen, we want to thank you for being a part of the very first Alpha Men podcast. We want to thank Arnie Spanier from Fox Sports Radio for stopping by. And do us a favor. Go to alphamenpodcast.com and check out the Alpha Men store. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. And yeah, like that. It's a black t-shirt. No, it's got the logo on it.
There's a pink one.
There's a pink one because there's nothing like a lady that wears an Alpha Men podcast shirt, right?
Nothing wrong
The
with
ever
that.
popular "Don't Be a Wuss" T-shirt, right? And the Alpha Men barbecue grill apron. We got hoodies. We got all kinds of stuff. So make sure you check that out. And I don't know. I like that design. Be a man. Absolutely.
You should learn that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So
we'll work out the kinks here. It's the first time. Maybe my first time producing.
well, listen, we talked about it right before we went on the air tonight. I said it's gonna go like your wedding day. And he said, "You mean when you embarrass me?" I said, "Yeah."
It's actually a lot lighter than I anticipated.
No, it's look. Anytime you do something new for the first time, there's going to be bugs and kinks and all that other stuff, and we're going to have to work them out, and we will. But this has been a long time coming. All of the things that air in between the segments and the dividers and stuff like that, it all takes an incredible amount of time, and we really have been working on it for about 6 to 8 months.
And I got to appreciate my wife and kids especially my wife for keeping the kids quiet during all this, because this microphone picks up everything. So
here's the deal. I was having internet issues right before the show, because there's nothing like right before you go live on the first night having to run to Staples to buy 100 feet of cable so you can connect directly to your router, which is downstairs in the living room. Right.
Yeah.
My wife comes home and goes, "Really?" I go, "What?" She goes, "You're just going to leave the cable hanging in the middle of the house?" And I'm like, "Well, on Tuesday nights, yeah, I am. It's not a big deal."
That's what I said to my wife.
I'm like, on Tuesday nights, I'll connect it, and when we're done, I'll disconnect it and roll it up, and that's kind of the deal. But hey, we got through it. We got through it. So, first episode in the books. Got to do a cheers.
Hold on.
I'm waiting on you.
Cheers. Tink.
Tink. And
I said dink.
I guess we will see you next time.
Next Tuesday.
On the Alpha Men Podcast. 8 o'clock, Tuesday nights. On Facebook, Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube Live.